All right. Good afternoon, MISD. Welcome to the May 19th staff meeting. This will be our last one for this school year. We know next week that you are super busy finishing up the things that you need to do and getting ready for the summer. So we will not have a call next week, but we have a lot to share today. So let's get going. First thing, we have a Heritage High School junior, Jaylee Young, who is playing in the state tournament tomorrow, state tennis tournament. We wish her well. She'll play her first match at 10:30 in the girls singles division. Reflecting the successful year we have had in our athletic program, we have now a record number of 44 high school student athletes who have signed a letter of intent to play at the collegiate level. Of course, we wish them well, and it just shows what a great season we've had. We had a great, fun time last Friday afternoon. We had the grand opening for our recently relocated MISD Express Clinic. Now, this is now located in the professional office building at Methodist Midlothian Hospital, which is near the stadium. So it's the building between the hospital and the stadium. You'll park in the front, go in that front door, and it's the front that's on the ground floor just as you go into the door. Please use this facility if you need it. We have a beautiful new clinic. And we don't want you to be sick, but if you or your dependents are sick and need to go to the hospital or the doctor, please go over there and get checked out for a small copay. It's a great employee benefit that we have. Earlier today, MISD participated in the Education Day with the Midlothian Chamber of Commerce. So thank you, Ms. Nikki Nix, who was instrumental in getting that all planned and going for us. Congratulations to our valedictorian and salutatorian for Midlothian and Heritage High School. For Midlothian High School, Timothy Chase Jeter, valedictorian, and Landon Buford was a salutatorian. At Heritage, Lauren Sims, was the valedictorian, and Hamilton McGunson was the salutatorian. So congratulations to those high academic standings for those students. Tonight is a special night because our Midlothian ISD Educational Foundation will host the STARS event. We didn't get to have this last year, so we're looking forward to having it tonight. That's where we recognize our top 5% of each high school students, and then the teacher who made an impact on their journey through education process. So it's always fun to have the comments from those students and what they say about their teachers. So thank you so much to MEF for always supporting our teachers and our students. Last night, we also had a great event. It's more fun to have these things this year. We didn't get to do most of these last time. We had a great night over at the MHS Auditorium celebrating our retirees. They had a combination of 432 years of service. It was hard to say goodbye to some of those folks because we've known them a long time. We will miss them so much. We wish them well, and we just want to say thank you so much for your service. We had a regular May board meeting. I'm already into June, so yeah, it was a May morning. Last Monday night, a lengthy agenda, and had some very important things on it. First of all, the board and all the people that were there thanked Heather Prather for her years of service on our school board. She served 2 terms and opted not to seek a third, so 6 years on the board. She is an incredible lady who has made a big difference in all the lives of so many MISD children, teachers, and staff. And as I said a while ago in the other call, a little personal privilege here. I had the opportunity to be the superintendent when her mom was on the board. Well, I won't say when, but it was a few years ago. And they got to also work with Heather. So that was really special for me to be able to thank her. We also swore in 3 board members. Gary Vineyard was reelected, so he's serving his 2nd term. Richard Pena and Eduardo Gonzalez will be on their 1st term. So we welcome those gentlemen to our school board. After the board was sworn in, the board officers reorganized. And so Gary Vineyard was elected to serve as president. Andrea Walton will be serving as vice president, and Matt Sanders will serve as secretary for the next year. It was a fun night because we had so many recognitions. Of course, our valedictorian and salutatorian from both high schools was recognized. And then we also recognized the many state qualifiers that we've mentioned over the last few weeks in the call for golf, wrestling, and track and field, some great athletes. Ms. Daisy McDonald of MHS was recognized for receiving the Region 10 Professional Learning Recognition Award. So congratulations to Daisy for that great award. And then another great award is Gerald Slogacek from Heritage was named the Texas Girls Coaching Association Coach of the Year. That's quite an achievement. So Gerald, we very much appreciate you and thank you for what you do for our programs here. The board took action and approved the naming of elementary number 8. This is the building that will be built at the corner of Hawkins Run Road and 14th Street. It will be named the Gene Coleman Elementary School. Great name for that. Well-deserved. I know that everybody on that list was well-deserved, but I think the board did a good job naming this. That building is, we turned dirt last week. There's bulldozers out there today. So in spite of the rain, we're actually making a little bit of progress. We'll have the groundbreaking for that on June the 21st at 4 p.m. That's our regular board meeting day for June. So it just really works out good to do that. As part of the budget process, we went over that a little bit, the board, and we always like to do this. We didn't get to do it too much last year because there were so many things up in the air, but I like for you to know kind of what the raises are going to be and benefits so that when you leave here, you'll kind of know that we have kind of a minimum number in our head. And so the board approved a staff raise at a minimum of 2% to the midpoint. I don't know that it'll go higher than that. There's still a lot of things that'll have to happen out of Austin and out of their appraisal district before that would change, but at least we have that, and we can say that today. But I am very happy to announce that we're going to add $30 each month to your health insurance if you have the health insurance. 4 years ago, I guess now, it was $0. Now we're up to $125 per month on your contribution. With the state share, that means the total contribution to your health insurance is now $350. It will be. So very appreciative of our board for allowing us to do that. It's been a benefit that we have needed to improve and raise over the last few years, and I think we're getting there. Side note is we don't know what the rates are going to be yet. So we did some of this kind of on faith. TRS board usually sets those in April, but this year they've delayed until June, and it might possibly be July before they make a decision. There's so many unknowns with COVID that they didn't want to step out and make a rate that was either too high or too low, so they're kind of waiting. The board took action on some of our Empowered, our one-to-one program, and I'm going to let Mr. Garricani talk about that in just a few minutes, kind of where we are in our next steps. We have a great SRO program, great relationship with the City of Midlothian Police Department, and the board will approve that. We talked about it at the May meeting. They'll approve that contract or that MOU with them in June. The board also heard information on offering a virtual option for students, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. And then Ms. Fitzgerald did a great job. She presented kind of a communication department update, looking at back at the last 3 or 4 years and the progress that have been made and the many opportunities that we've had to share out information with our staff and with our community. Next Friday, the day that kids are gone, we're still here, is 28th, it's the payday. And I only mentioned that because I want you to remember that the second half of the employee appreciation stipend will be paid on Thursday, June 3rd. So watch for that in your bank account. You have to be employed here on March the 22nd and still be employed on May 27th to get that next stipend. So watch for that. Empowered Summer Learning Sessions are almost here. We have many of your esteemed colleagues on the presentation list, as well as many other new offerings that will spark innovation in MISD. So make sure you're signed up for the Empowered Summer Academy days that you will attend in Eduphorium. Schedules of actual sessions will be coming out next week. Spots will fill up fast, so please don't delay and get in that training. So I'm pleased to announce today that we found out last night, in fact, late last night, that MISD was chosen by TA as one of 50 in the whole state. Only 50 districts were chosen to be a recipient of the Virtual and Hybrid School Accelerator Program for 21-22 school year. Now, selection was based on our successes from the school year that we just are finishing up and our district vision for virtual learning in the future. The program provides participating school districts customized technical assistance to design, implement, and continually improve virtual or hybrid school models. Applications were submitted in April, very competitive by all districts interested in designing and launching that. And like I said, we were one of 50 chosen. As you know, MISD established a dual learning platform committee this spring. There's more than 60 people working on that to develop plans for virtual learning options for the future based on what we've learned for this past year and ways to even improve. This program would help to ensure that our virtual program is robust and visionary. Here's a caution though, participation in this program and launch is fully contingent upon the legislative decisions regarding the authorization of virtual and hybrid learning. And I'll just break here, they are really in deep debate about that in Austin, not only the funding, but the process itself. Some districts really want a virtual program, some districts don't. We felt like we need to try to get into that top 50 and maybe be able to get some funding for this and get our program launched if that's what we choose to do. So great job by those folks who worked on that. I can't tell you what an honor that is because of the competitive nature of that whole program. So we'll see what the legislature does, and we'll let you know about that. So now I'm going to stop. I'll turn it over to Mr. Garricani, who talk about our Empire program.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Norris. As mentioned earlier, the board approved the purchase of new student devices for next school year. This includes Apple iPads for pre-K through third grade and Chromebooks for grades 4 through 12. We will work with special needs students and teachers to get the right device that they need. Last Thursday evening, the board approved the purchase of new staff devices. So all staff, and this has been a question come up through my team here, and I just want to be clear that all staff will receive a new MacBook. The only exception to this is instructional paraprofessionals. Back in the fall, we had a meeting with cabinet members and human resources team to determine the appropriate device for each job classification. And we agreed that instructional paraprofessionals needed to have exactly what the students were using and that it was more than sufficient to meet the requirements for their position. So once again, teachers, you will receive a new MacBook. Now, teachers in grades pre-K through third grade will also have an iPad because the students in those grades will have an iPad. For teachers teaching grades 4 through 12, you'll have your choice of an iPad because some of you are still using those for document camera, or you may be doing it with your virtual lessons. And I know virtual is still up in the air for next year. You also have an option of a choice of a Chromebook, or you have the option to have both devices. We're not requiring teachers teaching grades 4 through 12 to have 3 devices, but we will have plenty of inventory if it's desired. I personally think that some of you will want an iPad for use as a document camera, some of you won't, and some of you will want a Chromebook to have something similar to what your students have. My thought is that some of you will come to find that the Chromebook is essentially a Chrome browser running on a laptop, which is a very similar experience to running the Chrome browser on your MacBooks. Either way, we'll have you covered. Just a note about the decision on Chromebooks for students. We believe all around the Chromebook will serve our students' needs. More importantly, I presented the findings of our Chromebook pilot to the board the other night, excuse me, and I'll tell you that the data shows that once teachers in the pilot had a chance to use the Chromebooks, their perception of change and impact to lesson planning and instruction was greatly relieved. If you're curious to see the statistical analysis on this, I encourage you to review the video from last Monday night's board meeting. I know it's the end of the year and many of you are busy with end of year processes, but if you would like to go ahead and get access to a Chromebook for summer empowered training, you can. We'll have our technology specialist reach out to you where you can indicate your desire to have a device ahead of summer training. We are beyond excited to have direction from our board, and despite many factors, we're grateful to be able to refresh devices for staff and students and continue advancing our Empowered One-to-One program. Now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Shore Heathcote for a brief update and benefits burst.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garricani. So our current active COVID cases remain very low across the district. The district has averaged less than 1 case per day in the past week. So yesterday you received an email from Communications regarding Governor Abbott's recent Executive Order GA36 that restricts school districts from requiring masks after June 4th. So as you know, the MISD Board of Trustees made the changes to the mask mandate, making masks recommended at the May 13th board meeting. So at this time, the district is moving forward with summer school, summer activities, and planning for the 21-22 school year as usual, unless we have any big changes in the COVID landscape over the coming months, and that should remain. But in today's weekly benefits burst, I want to share that you will receive an email from Kara Himley on Monday regarding benefits and open enrollment for the 2021-2022 school year. So this year's enrollment will be a passive enrollment, meaning everything will roll over to a new year if you are not making any changes. If you have any questions after you receive this info on Monday, May 24th, please reach out to Kara. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Norris to close us out.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Heathcote. And I understand the governor called you before he made that choice. He said, whatever Shore says, that's what we're going to do. Is that true? I don't know, may not be. Anyway, before we close, I want to tell you guys how much we appreciate all of you. I know it's been a year that we will never forget, a year that we hope never comes again with all the things that we have done. But I don't know, when you look back at this a few years now, you'll say, how do we do all that? Well, it's because of you folks. We made it. So thank you so much for all that you've done on behalf of the board, the leadership, our whole community. Thank you for what you have done for our kids this school year. To our teachers, we know you've made a huge impact on our kids, just an incredible impact. Despite the challenges that you had to face, you did it. You need to make yourself proud because you know you did that. So you had a great job. We appreciate you, everything that you've done so much. Parents, community are always saying how much they appreciate all that you do for our kids. To all the other staff members, same thing. You have contributed so much to our student success this year. I won't go into different departments because I'd leave somebody out. You just need to all know how important you are, the MISD family. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for what you've done beyond the call of duty. So with that, we're going to close out, and I'll see you around the next week or so, I'm sure. But if I don't, I hope you have a great summer. Be safe, be well. Hope you get to do some things this summer that you didn't get to do last summer, and that you get to enjoy your time away and with your family. So with that, we'll say bye-bye for this school year. Thanks again for all you've done.